I am Zaira from TSLB, and today I will present about the magical world of short stories. The story that I've chosen is The Lion and the Mouse by S.O. Fable and The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. The first thing that I want to talk about is The Lion and the Mouse. For this story, the reason why I choose situational context is because due to the fact that the story depends on what is happening on the character. For example, without the nest, the lion sparing the mouse, the lesson even the smallest can help the greatest would not exist. So therefore, situational context drives the language, action and the moral of the story. Now, the importance in teaching and learning English is, first of all, is vocabulary in context. Students don't just memorize words from a list. They learn them through a real situational. For example, in the story, you can see that the rat is biting the net to save the lion. So therefore, word used in the story is not just random vocabulary. Students can see why these words are important because of the situation. Now, why does this matter? This is due to the fact that, according to Strauber in 2020, a study shows that a student who learn from remembering words is less efficient than people who learn words using picture. So not only that, students learn how to guess meaning from this situation. And lastly, so instead of memorization, the story teaches vocabulary in a living, meaningful way that the primary kids can connect. Now the second cause is understanding cause and effect. Teacher can highlight how language expresses changing situation. For example, the lion caught the mouse, the lion let go of the mouse, and lastly, the mouse helped the lion. This can help students see how English uses verb, connectors and sequencing words such as because, so, that and later to show logical relationship. Now, how does this help the students out? Firstly, it can improve their writing and speaking as students can retell the stories using connectors. And secondly, it can show that English grammar is not just rules but a way to explain actions and result in a real life situation. Now, The Lion and the Mouse is a really good example because they provide a natural example of action and result. This story can greatly help students and children to link ideas and avoid speaking in a single broken sentences. Now the last point, the third point of the story is role play and dialogue. Teacher can let the student act out the scene. For example, the student turn into a lion and a mouse. Lion will say, "I will eat you," and the mouse will say, "Please don't eat me. One day I will help you out, I promise." Now this gives the student a practical way of asking for help and offering for help, and lastly, showing gratitude. Now, why do they need to role play? Well, this is due to the fact that role play allows students to use English actively rather than just listening or reading. Not only that, it can make English learning more fun and memorable for them as they are younger kids. And lastly, it can build confidence for them to speak in the public. Now, onto the second and the last story, which is Caterpillar. Now the reason why I chose cultural context is due to the fact that the story introduced to the audience about food items such as apple, pear, cake, sausage that can reflect certain culture eating habits. Not only that, it shows days of the week as a part of a daily routine, something that varies across learning traditionals and calendars. And lastly, it also highlights the cycle life of a caterpillar or a butterfly, which is taught in many schools but being taught in variety of ways. The importance in teaching and learning English is that, firstly, vocabulary building in cultural themes. Children can learn best when they can apply what they learn in class into their real life situation. So therefore, when teaching vocabulary, the teacher can use example from the children's everyday life to make the words more meaningful and relevant. This is according to Sherman in 2020. Now, This variety reflects cultural eating habits. In Western culture, for example, sweets and snacks are common in children's diet, whereas in other culture, children may eat rice, noodle, or even bread. And not only that, for English learner, this can make them have a chance to learn new food word while comparing with their own. Now, how can this help the student? Well, firstly, it can encourage cross-cultural awareness, as comparison make learning meaningful, and secondly, it can build confidence in their sentence structure. Yes, and the second point is expanding cultural awareness. Every language reflects the culture it comes from. The food, routine, and the habits in the story, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, shows a Western lifestyle. So for Malaysian learners, for example, it may feel strange to see a caterpillar eating so many sweets. As for more, this can help the student to open up discussion among them. Now, how does this help them? Firstly, it can develop respect for cultural diversity, and secondly, it can promote global understanding, which students can see that English is not just about grammar, it's a bridge to understanding other culture and the way of life. The third point is it can connect language to celebration and symbolism. In some culture, butterfly represent the transformation or good luck. For example, in Chinese tradition, butterfly can be a symbol of love, freedom, romance, and beauty. Teacher can link the story to show how different symbols differ across culture, showing that language carries meaning shaped by tradition. Now, how can this help the student? Firstly, it can enhance appreciation of literature, as understanding symbolism can help students to enjoy and interpret literature more meaningful. And secondly, it can expand creativity expression. Students can create art, poem, or mini stories in English using symbols. That's all from me. Thank you.